So let's talk about hair porosity. I think the number one thing to understand about your natural hair, it tells you what products will work for you and how to take care of your hair. So I'll share my porosity, and I'll also share an experiment on how you can figure out your porosity. So let's get started.
Hey, good babies. Mommy got makeup on. I can't give kisses right now. Hey, good girl. Hey guys, Roxy said hi too. Today's video is all about natural hair and understanding the makeup of it. I did do a hair video about porosity a while back, so I'll clip it right here, check it out. But yeah, I just wanted to revisit it because I think this is so important to understand how to take care of your hair, your health of your hair, and especially what products to use. So all this time I've been saying I've been low porosity, so we're going to do a little experiment to see if that's true, and I'll do that towards the end of the video, and I'll explain how you can do it so you can figure out what type of porosity your hair has. So basically, the porosity is your hair's ability to absorb product. Why is that so important? Well, your hair ability to retain and absorb product helps retain its moisture. And as you know, when you have kinky, coily, or curly hair, retaining moisture is the number one goal of having healthy hair. What is not healthy hair, and I want to make sure you guys dispel these myths, healthy hair does not equal shine. You can have beautiful, healthy, moisturized hair that's not shiny. Do not believe the hype. Shine does not equate into healthy hair. So please do not believe that. So the porosity basically is your hair's ability to absorb product and retain product. Because if your hair can absorb it really quickly, but then lets it go just as fast, doesn't really help. So there's different ways of how to understand your porosity and once you understand your porosity, what products to use and what products not to use, and how to retain moisture and how to get moisture in your hair. Now your hair strand, every single hair strand from the root all the way down to your tip are made of layers. And the main layers we are going to be focusing on with hair porosity is your outside cuticle. And the cuticle is really cool. It's not just all smooth. It's like, just think of fish scales laying on top of each other. And underneath those beautiful hair cuticles is what we call the cortex. So everybody has the same hair structure. That's all across the board. Everything else is based on your genetics, your makeup of who you are. So you can't choose this. It's just what you are granted with. Now, there is some exceptions, like with high porosity, that usually shows high damage hair due to chemical manipulation. Like if you got a relaxer, if you got color, anything that can manipulate the cuticle of your hair to change its structure can make your hair high porosity. So that's the only real exception to this rule, I guess. So anyway, so usually your healthy hair, the hair cuticles kind of lay flat against each other like fish scales, right? And depending on how your porosity is, like for my low porosity hair, those cuticles are still tight. Like nothing's getting in. So for me to make my hair cuticles raise up just a little bit to get into that cortex, it takes heat. So I know with my hair type, having low porosity hair, with my cuticles being so tight laid down, that I have to use heat. So when I deep condition, I put a cap on, like the heat for my scalp, to kind of lift up those cuticles, get that deep conditioner inside my hair. Otherwise, it's just laying on top of that and is not doing anything. So for me, low porosity hair, I have to be able to lift those cuticles. I don't have to help them close, because as soon as that heat is gone, it's going right back down. But with low porosity hair, it's awesome, because once I get that moisture in, all that good hair moisturizer, all that good leave-in, if I want to use a really light oil, I can. It goes into the cortex, and once it cools down, smack, it goes in, and it retains all that moisture. It locks it in. You know what happens with the low porosity hair because of that? I have very thin and fine hair, but it could take my hair 2 days to dry. That is one huge characteristic of low porosity hair, because once you open that sucker in and get all the moisture in, it cools down. It will not open for anything until you reheat it. It locks that moisture in, and because it's not evaporating out, which helps with the drying process, it takes low porosity hair very long to dry. But that moisture is in there. So having low porosity hair, I know I need heat to make sure my products penetrate. I need a leave-in that's creamy and thin, so that way it's not thick and just coats my cuticles. My cuticles don't need to be laid down. They do it by themselves. I have to make them lift up. So I need something light and creamy to quickly penetrate. Don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. And I make sure I choose oils that are light, also quickly absorbs into my hair cortex when the cuticles lift up. So the other side is having high porosity hair. And high porosity hair sometimes is attributed by chemical manipulation. I don't want to say damage, because you can still take care of your hair if you get a relaxer, if you put color. So I'm going to say chemical manipulated. It changes the structure of your hair cuticle. So with high porosity hair, your cuticles, those bad boys are up. They don't need any help opening it. They're already up. So the cool thing about it, when you have high porosity hair, it seems like you put water on it, it doesn't get wet. It takes forever for it to get wet because it's going in. It's already high open. So with this type of hair, those heavy creams, those heavy shea butter based leave-ins, those like coconut oils, those heavy oils to kind of help, and cool water shut those cuticles down. Because if you don't use those type of products that are very emollient, those hair cuticles are going to stay up, and whatever you put in is going to go right back out into the atmosphere. There's nothing stopping it because this bad boy is still open. So that's why people feel that their hair is so dry no matter what they do, and it dries fast. It takes forever to get wet, dries fast, because those cuticles are like wide open. So for those to take care of high porosity hair, you must use a high emollient and cold water when you rinse it to like shock your cuticles. Hey guys, I just gotta show you my Rara. She's like, Mommy, hurry up. I'll just sleep next to your dirty clothes. Anyway. Yeah, it's almost bedtime. And then the last one is normal porosity. It's like the great in between. So it's not totally cuticles totally flushed against your cortex. It's not like the fish scales are all laying really tightly together, and they're not all the way open. They're just kind of like chilling. They're resting. They're not tight, but they're kind of resting. So you have the exercise of using a lot of products that works for you, because the moisture goes in really easy into your cortex. You are able to retain moisture, maybe not all of it, but majority of it stays in the cortex of your hair. And yeah, this is like basically like midway. Like if you have normal porosity, it's easy to pick products, I feel, because it's easy to retain moisture, and it's easy to keep your hair hydrated and moisturized. So yeah, your hair cuticle is not all the way flushed down like low porosity, and it's not all the way open like high porosity. It's like a happy medium. Just perfect. So I can't speak to high porosity or normal porosity because that's not my experience. I am low porosity. So another characteristic of having low porosity hair, not only does it take heat to open up your hair cuticles, and you can make the cuticles close faster with cold water if you want to, but like I said, once that heat's removed, it's going to do it by itself anyway. But using like light leave-ins, like oils like avocado, grapeseed, things of that nature, using a protein deep conditioner my hair loves. So I do a protein based deep conditioner, and I do that once a week, and I do my leave-ins as moisture hydrated rich leave-ins. So that way with my hair low porosity, I have to be very, very mindful of the protein moisturization ratio because I don't want to have my hair to have too much protein overload. But I realized with a deep conditioner once a week with heat going deep into my cortex, my hair loves it. Another thing with low porosity hair, I'm sorry, it takes forever to dry. Like I said, once we get moisture in our hair, our cuticles like seal up with the quickness, and because it holds all that moisture in it, it takes forever to dry because it doesn't have that free flow of air of the hair cuticles being somewhat open to evaporate more quickly. Nope, it's going to hold on to every little piece you put in that cortex, which is a blessing. But you got to be careful because sometimes it makes your hair very, very spongy, and that's when you can tell that you either have a moisture or a protein overload. So just feel and listen to your hair so you can adjust accordingly. Your hair is going to be super shiny. I have natural black hair, so because my hair cuticles are so shut tight and laying flush, the light bounces off of it very easily, giving it appearance of shine. Now remember, shine does not equal health. It's just what my hair cuticles do to the light. It's just manipulation of light and how it reflects off my hair because of my hair cuticles. So it doesn't state that I have really highly hydrated or moisturized hair. It's just how the light bounces off my hair cuticles. But yeah, once you get that moisture in and once you find your magic potion, it's a blessing. I mean, I do hate that it takes forever for my hair to dry, but I learned to live with it. And I really feel that hair porosity is the #1 key of figuring out what products to use for your hair. Your hair pattern is also important. I'll definitely go over that in the next video, but I just felt hair porosity was my #1 identifier that when I found out what I was able to find the products I needed, and I was able to easily more take care of my natural hair. So I'm going to show you a trick that I learned on the internet myself about how you can tell what type of porosity you have. So let's go into the next clip. See you there. So the experiment, you need a piece of hair, which I have right here when I detangled. Just a glass water that's clear. And then you drop your hair in the water. And then you look to see where it ends up. So if you notice, my hair is just chilling on the top. It's not in the middle. It's not at the bottom. It's chilling on the top.
Don't put me in it.
You're not in it. I just started. So as you can tell from my little experiment, you get a glass of water, a glass that obviously you can see. So if your hair strand just kind of floats on the top, that means you have high porosity hair, which makes sense because remember your hair cuticles are shut. It's not manipulated, no heat, so nothing's getting in that bad boy until the cuticles are lifted up with heat. If your hair floats towards the middle, that's where you have normal porosity hair. It's easy to get water in, it's easy to get water out, you're able to retain. But if your hair sinks like a brick to the bottom of the glass, that means that you have high porosity. It takes in moisture really, really fast because the door is really, really wide open, so it just goes all the way down to the bottom. Try it, let me know what your hair porosity is, and tell me in the comments below. Until next time, guys.